This podcast is designed to inspire and propel you to a newfound level of empowerment and clarity. Through cultivating the art of thinking, you'll learn how to detangle your thought knots and train your brain to break through obstacles. You'll learn to focus on what matters most and make effective choices to become a remarkable you. Hello everyone, my name is Pamela Pitcher and welcome to my podcast. As a master of neurolinguistic programming, a motivational coach, and a hypnotherapist, I'll be sharing tips, tools, and techniques to help you awaken to the best you. In this podcast, I'm discussing my spirituality because it's my engine, the reason I do what I do. When I was 18, I was told not to discuss my spiritual side because it would make others uncomfortable. Well, those days are over and it's time to show a little leg. And because I'm a fan of the ancient Vedas of India, I'm going to lead with yoga, a practice that is for the mind and the body. What you think affects your body, and what you do with your body affects your mind. They are forever intertwined. Gee, that just rhymed and I didn't even mean to do that. Many people practice yoga to change their state of mind for the better, your state of mind that's of concern to me. Anything that we can do to move our mind to one of positivity and flexibility is a very, very good thing. So let's look at it a little closer, shall we? Some of you know that yoga isn't just about exercise, postures, or asanas. There's a lot more to it than that. Physical yoga, that is most widely known in the Western world, is hatha yoga or hatha yoga, for which there are many, many different kinds: Ashtanga, Iyengar, Yin, Bikram, Hot Yoga, Power Yoga, and so on. Asanas are the postures that were designed to prepare one's body to sit for long periods of time in meditation. Yoga doesn't stop with hatha yoga. Meditation and contemplation form Raja Yoga. And from my point of view, meditation is another great way to train your brain. It helps us release thoughts of the ego, of wondering aimlessly, of worrying, and connect the you inside of you and connect you to all that is. Aside from Hatha and Raja Yoga, there's Bhakti Yoga, which is having a devotional life and surrender to God. Mantra Yoga is to awaken the self with deeper meditation. And Karma Yoga is the path of unselfish action and personal consequences. We all know this one: what goes around comes around, stems from Karma Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the wisdom of knowledge. The mind is used to inquire into its own nature. And without realizing it until last year, I have pretty much been a Jnana Yoga devotee for most of my life because it is the path of knowledge and the path of self-realization. Jnana Yoga is one of several spiritual paths in Hinduism. It pursues knowledge with questions such as, who am I? Or what am I? Early on in my life as a little girl, I began the path of self-inquiry. I remember sitting on my bed, looking out my bedroom window, wondering, why am I here? I'm just a little speck on my bed, in my bedroom, in this house, on this street, in this city, looking out at all the stars and realizing I was just merely a dot in the universe. Why am I here? That question never left me. At about the age of 16, after reading books such as Be Here Now by Ram Dass or The Tao of Physics by Fritjo Capra, and one of my all-time favorites, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, I concluded that I am an evolving soul in a physical body. This life, this is one of many lifetimes on earth, and I'm here for the advancement of my soul through experiences. Spirituality is my number one value, my top dog, and it sustained me time and again through, to coin a mummism, through hell and high water. Self-inquiry has also led me to become a self-growth junkie. A driving force behind my need to understand was because I was the youngest of 4 children of a widowed mother who made bad choices, especially with men. In my teens, my brother used to call coming home to my mom and her then boyfriend Bill the horror show. The horror show because they were both drunks and he used to beat her black and blue in their alcoholic days. You just never knew what was behind the door of our house. As a consequence, I wanted to overcome the horror show, the hurtful experiences in my life. I wanted to have a good life, to feel joy, to be successful. Success is a value that means different things to different people. And it's pretty important that we define success for ourselves, because if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? After much soul searching, I define my success for me, as this. Success to me is growing spiritually, living with joy and adventure. And believe you me, it took a bit of work to know that. Pages of writing, hours of meditation, and a workshop or 2. Eventually, I became fascinated with how life works. And since life happens up here in my head, in our heads, my fascination evolved into how the mind works. Because even though I believe I am part of all that is, and my soul will never die, I'd get caught up in life's drama and search for a way out. I found myself recreating negative drama because that is what I grew up with, and I wanted to stop that pattern. If I was going to have drama, I wanted it to be positive, to live with joy and adventure. Life is a drama. All the world is a stage, and we can choose the play or movie we wish to create. I learned to train my brain to go from there to over here, and I love helping others do the same. Now, some of you know from my earlier podcasts that we think what we think based on our conditioning, and our conditioning depends upon the spot in the world where we were born, that gave us our culture, our family, our language, gender, race, and so on. We're about 8 billion-ish people, and none of us think the same. Therefore, love this one. Therefore, I relax into confidence because I know if you're judging me negatively, you're judging the person you think I am and not who I am. There's huge power in that. What I control is how I react to what you think or what you say to me. If I don't know you or I don't respect your opinion, then it doesn't matter. I listen to people's opinions that I respect and trust, and my trust isn't earned easily. In addition to experiences and our conditioning, all of our brains work a little differently. We have 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. Our eyes, our ears, our feeling, our taste, our smell. And again, people take in all that information differently. I'm a visual learner. You might be auditory or kinesthetic. I need pictures. I need graphs to truly comprehend something. And because we are bombarded with thousands of bits of information every second, our brains delete, distort, and generalize data. It's impossible to remember a sentence of more than 4 to 10 words consciously. The number of objects an average human being can consciously process at any time is 7 plus or minus 2. In other words, we can hold 7 plus or minus 2 separate bits of information consciously at any one time. The reality we see is not the reality that actually exists outside of the mind's imagination. We have a conscious mind and we have an unconscious mind. If we think of the mind as a computer, the conscious mind would be the keyboard and the unconscious would be the hard drive. The conscious programs the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind does what it's told. The conscious mind comprises only 5 to 10% of the mind. And the unconscious is where our memories and our patterns of thinking dwell, and it's the decision maker. The unconscious mind communicates through emotion. On a basic level, if we, with our conscious mind, concentrate on the negative, then our unconscious mind dutifully follows the programming and we feel bad. Conversely, if we think positive thoughts, then we'll feel good. The unconscious mind does what it's told. What we focus on shows up. And what's so important to realize is that the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real or imagined. The two most powerful things your conscious mind can do is focus and imagine. If the quality of your thoughts is getting in the way of your success, the good news is that we can change how we think. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to change continuously throughout an individual's life. Neuro, or the building blocks of the brain and the nervous system. Plasticity is the malleability of the brain. Researchers used to believe that changes to the brain could only take place in infancy and childhood, but now we know that the brain continues to create new neural pathways and alter existing ones in order to adapt to new experiences, learn new information, and create new memories. Our brains have about 86 billion neurons. It burns up about 20% of our energy. Yet some people don't exercise their brain consciously. They think what they think is true, and really what is true for us is our perception. Thinking patterns that are no longer serving us can be broken. A thought that turns into belief can change the trajectory of your life. Limiting beliefs do not serve us and need to be muzzled, tucked away. So how does one train their brain for the good? There are many ways to do so, and I cover a lot of them in my podcast, but briefly, some of them are practicing gratitude, daydreaming well, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, cultivating a sense of purpose. I do that for myself with these podcasts, among other things. Value the journey over the result. Getting there is half the fun. Stop trying, which denotes struggle. Take that word out of your vocabulary and start doing. Be a doer. Love Nike's tagline, I guess they call it. Just do it. I think it's brilliant. Take risks. Step outside the box. Sign up for my blog at pamelapitcher.com. Give up perfection. It's a concept to make us feel bad about ourselves, or work with a coach that knows something about this stuff. In Jnana Yoga, it is believed that knowledge is power. My perspective is we are all powerful beings. Self-knowledge helps us realize the warrior within and take our power back. One of the 12 universal laws is the law of correspondence. Your inner reality creates your outer reality. Learn to change your perception in life and focus on what you want to have in your life. Commit to feel joy and peace, better emotions. From A Course in Miracles published by the Foundation for Inner Peace, Lesson 45, have to share it with you. God is the mind with which I think. Today's idea holds the key to what your real thoughts are. They are nothing that you think, just as nothing that you think you see is related to vision in any way. There is no relationship between what is real and what you think is real. Nothing that you think are real thoughts resemble your real thoughts in any respect. From my perspective, it's a gentle reminder that we are not the voice in our head. That's a fear-based way of thinking that worries and self-criticizes. That voice is part of the human condition with thinking patterns that have been passed down through families and cultures for generations. We are now evolved enough to know that we can change what we think and change the course of our lives. After all, we are part of the divine. All that is would not have us do the impossible. Instead, we need to remember that what the divine would have us do is possible. A helpful question to ask yourself when making decisions in your life is to ask, am I doing this out of fear? Or am I doing this because it feels right for me? Fear-based decisions can wreak havoc in our lives, whereas it feels right for you, it's right for you. Remember, the unconscious brain communicates to you through emotion, so begin to pay attention to how you are feeling. It's your guide, and through that connection with your unconscious mind and your emotion, and doing what is right from you based on that feeling, you take your power back. You are all powerful. Namaste. Please remember to subscribe and share across social media. I'd really appreciate that. And I'd also love to see your thoughts. So please send your feedback my way so I know how to help you the most. Thank you again. Ciao for now.